Straight ahead on 12 News, new autism figures that health officials call shocking. We'll take you to a school in Crystal for an interesting perspective on the issue. Plus, a what-if scenario that became all too real over the weekend. What to do if you come across a bad accident. But first, police search for a driver who struck another person and drove away. 12 News starts right now. Brooklyn Park Police are asking for the public's help to locate a driver who struck a pedestrian and fled the scene.
Police say the hit and run happened Sunday night on Brooklyn Boulevard near the Brunswick Bowling Alley. Sonia Goins joins us now with the latest. Sonia?
Yes, police say the victim is an adult male and he's also deaf. The incident happened around 11 p.m. Sunday. A lot of people saw the hit and run. It just happened to be near the same spot where a motorcyclist fleeing police crashed and died several hours earlier. People had gathered to remember the motorcyclist when the hit and run occurred. Kirk Stromberg says he was walking back to his car when he heard the crash.
I kind of lost my marbles for about a minute there when I had called 911 because at the point that he had gotten hit, he was not moving for about a couple minutes. He was laying there and kind of just moaning.
Now, the victim, whose name is not being released, is recovering at North Memorial Hospital. We're told he suffered a lot of bumps and bruises, but is expected to be okay. The good news is police say they did get a good description of the vehicle. It's a white four-door Cadillac with damage to the passenger side mirror and damage to the front bumper. Police also say the car has dark blue headlights. If you have any information, please call Brooklyn Park Police. Now, Mike and Alex, it was dark and rainy at the time of the incident, but police say the motorist knew someone was hit, but they took off anyway.
All right, thank you very much, Sonia. Brooklyn Park Police are also investigating an armed robbery. Around 11 o'clock last night, police say two males wearing masks and hooded sweatshirts burst into the Pizza Hut off Brookdale Drive and demanded money. One of them had a handgun. The robbers took cash and fled the scene on foot. Police searched the area but were unable to find them. None of the employees were hurt.
Police continue to investigate the cause of a crash that killed a woman in Brooklyn Center. Ashley Williams of Minneapolis died early Monday when the Jeep she was driving struck a tree in the 6100 block of Shingle Creek Parkway. She was 23 years old. Another woman in the vehicle survived the crash. Police say the Jeep crossed the center median and oncoming traffic lanes before crashing. They say slippery road conditions may have been a factor. The driver who died was not wearing a seatbelt.
Meantime, 3 generations of family members lost their lives in Sunday's I-94 crash near the Minneapolis-Brooklyn Center border. All of the victims, a grandmother, her daughter, and her grandson, lived together in Coon Rapids. 5 other family members in the vehicle survived the crash. The State Patrol says another vehicle struck the family's minivan, sending it into a concrete median. The van rolled several times and all of the victims killed were ejected onto the freeway. None were properly buckled up. The accident left many shaken up, including a number of witnesses who stopped to help.
With little to no training, those good Samaritans directed traffic and tried tending to the injured. But how many people would know what to do in that situation? Renee Bonneau has more on what you should do if you come across an emergency.
I was riding my bike around Medicine Lake. I saw a bike laying in the weeds, and further on was a guy.
On August 7th, a simple bike ride became a life-saving mission.
He had very short, rapid breathing, and eyes rolled back in his head pretty much. He wouldn't respond no matter how much I shouted to him.
Paul Grandboy found a man having a heart attack.
I tell you, I was spooked. I don't know CPR, and I felt a little helpless. I didn't have my cell phone. I'm on my bicycle.
He had fell over and he was kind of in the ditch.
By luck, Grandboy flagged down nurse practitioner Joy Lansma.
And we saw this guy come up waving us down.
She and another woman did CPR until paramedics came.
I rolled him over, tried to get a flat, hard surface. I straddled him, started doing chest compressions as fast as I could.
We do admire the people who put themselves out there and make those kinds of decisions.
North Memorial paramedic John Riley says it's okay to help others in an emergency as long as you keep your own safety in mind.
Well, a number of vehicles stopped, witnesses and others that saw the results of the crash.
Several people stopped at the scene of the deadly car crash on I-94 Sunday afternoon.
The folks that stopped, they did what they could.
While Noble, they took a big risk.
The heat of the moment can make them do things without thinking. They can step out into traffic and not realize that they're doing that.
Riley also says Good Samaritans risk becoming traumatized by what they see or experience, and it's important not to bottle it up.
Go to family, go to friends, talk it out, talk about it.
My advice would be to act. You would rather act and do something than nothing.
Lansma and Gramboy say the reward outweighs the risk. The man they helped survived.
If you're put into that situation, I believe that all of us have it in them to help a person. I think we all want to help people.
Everyone we spoke to told me you don't have to be a medical professional to help. If nothing else, keeping a person calm and out of further danger until paramedics arrive can make a big difference. Mike and Alex?
All right, thanks a lot, Renee. Good information. New information released from the Centers for Disease Control show that the number of children in the U.S. with autism has jumped dramatically since 2007.
Autism is characterized generally by impaired social interaction and communication. In today's Health Check, Elaine Cleveland tells us more about the impact of these new figures.
All right, book and binder. Daily question.
Megan Pfeffer's science class is relatively small compared to what you'd find in a normal classroom setting.
Who would like to start?
In fact, none of the classes at Lionsgate Academy
What is an organelle?
has more than 15 students.
Great job, Barrett. So the class sizes are smaller and it's more easier for them to grasp the content and get more individual needs when needed. Sean?
There's a reason why these students need the individual attention.
It's like this one. That one? Okay.
Each and every one of them has an autism spectrum disorder.
And our students, they do vary on the spectrum. Most of our students are considered what they call higher functioning, where they can learn in the classroom with academics.
There's a lot of autism out there.
Not long ago, the school's executive director says autism in children was rare.
The statistics were 1 in 10,000.
Oh, we gotta love technology, right?
In 2007, the CDC estimated the number was 1 in 88, but last month, researchers determined the more accurate total was 1 in 50.
I think there's a lot of things that contribute to the recent rise. And there is legitimately a rise. It's not just because people recognize it now and they didn't recognize it before.
She can only speculate as to the reason for the rise.
Do not know the answer.
But she does know it will have an impact on the next generation of America's workforce.
The idea that 1 in 50 of those individuals has a disability that will significantly impact their ability to get and hold a job is pretty scary.
And match up the terms.
Here at Lionsgate,
and they all have ribosomes.
Ribosomes?
Teachers are giving them the tools they need to transition successfully into life after high school.
We matched them all.
And while Pfeffer will admit that the new autism figures are shocking, she's glad it's bringing more awareness to the problem.
If you meet one person with autism, it's one person, and they are to be treated the same as everyone else.
In Crystal, Elaine Cleveland, 12 News.
Experts say if a man has a child at an older age, it's more likely for a child to have autism. Other possible reasons for the increase in autism diagnoses include environmental factors and better ability to recognize milder symptoms of autism. Well, the weather has not been kind to local sports teams.
But our sports crews are making the best of it. They have season previews of Armstrong softball and boys lacrosse teams. But first, how much snow can we expect, and when will spring return to normal? A local weather expert gives us perspective on this wacky weather week when we come back.
Believe it or not, it is springtime in Minnesota.
You would never guess it by the look or feel of things outside. In fact, since the official start of spring 3 weeks ago, our temperatures have been colder than normal 14 out of the last 19 days.
And get this, the warmest temperature that we've reached all year is a whopping 56 degrees. That was on March 30th. And there is snow in the forecast this week. So what's this cold spring all about?
That's right. State climatologist Greg Spoden with the DNR is kind enough to join us with your insights. Now, Greg, thanks for joining us.
You're very welcome.
I understand we are under a winter storm warning right now. Tell us, how much snow could we see here in the Northwest Metro this week?
That's correct. The National Weather Service has issued a winter storm warning for the entire metropolitan area, including the Channel 12 viewing area. And the warning extends from 7 o'clock Tuesday evening through 1 p.m. on Thursday afternoon, a very long duration event. Tuesday night and Wednesday, it will be a weather buffet. It will be rain, freezing rain, sleet, some snow. Then Wednesday evening, it turns to all snow. The heaviest of the snow occurs early Thursday morning.
So how much snow altogether do you think?
The Weather Service is offering a broad range of possible outcomes, but 5 to 9 inches is possible. Fortunately, not very common for April.
That's what I was going to ask. It's not uncommon to get a couple inches of snow in April, but how rare is it when we're talking about this, up to a foot in
yes,
some places?
Thankfully, heavy snowfalls in April are rare in the Twin Cities. Let's use 6 inches as our threshold. That occurs only once every 10 years or so in the metropolitan area. The last time we had a 6-inch snowfall in the metropolitan area was in April of 2002. In fact, we had 3 of them in that month. We had over 20 inches of snow in April of 2002.
How come I don't remember that?
Yeah. And just in about the 20 seconds we have left, good silver lining is that the snow can't last long on the ground, but what are we going to see in the next week or two here?
Right.
Warm up?
Yes, thankfully the snow can't last. The days are long, the sun is high. However, the outlook is for below normal temperatures, so it will, spring will grudgingly appear.
Oh, great. State climatologist and Brooklyn Park resident Greg Spoden, thanks so much for being here.
You're sure welcome.
Appreciate it.
Coming up, teachers try their hand at comedy for a good cause.
But first in sports, believe it or not, we have some outdoor spring highlights as Wayzata's boys tennis team hits the courts. John Jacobson with that and more when we come back. Well, John Jacobson with sports now, and this might be the last outside sports we see for a couple of days. Hopefully things will clear up soon, but some tennis outside.
Wasn't even great on Monday, but I think they looked at the forecast, thought, well, we got to get something in this week, and so they went and played. After his state runner-up finish at Elk River a year ago, the Wayzata boys tennis team took the court Monday for their first match of 2013 on what might end up being the nicest day of the week. The Trojans hosting Minneapolis Washburn in a non-conference match. Number 1 doubles is Jake Strom serving for Wayzata. He and Jason Kabrowski facing Washburn's Andy Polkrabic and Jacob Toffler. The Millers get the point there. But Strom and Kabrowski win the match. Jason serves up the ace, and they win at first doubles in 3 sets. At number 3 singles, it's Wayzata's Matt Tropsha in the far court facing Paul Leslie. Leslie gets Tropsha on the run a little and then wins with an overhand smash there. Later in the set, though, Tropsha wins with a nice cross-court backhander, and he wins the match for the Trojans 6-3, 6-4. At second doubles, it's Derek Jacqua and Steele Kowalczyk in the near court for Wayzata. Jacqua gets the point at the net for the Trojans. Wayzata wins 7-0. Their first late conference match is scheduled for next Monday. The Armstrong boys lacrosse team is a defending co-champion of the Northwest Suburban Conference, but a lot of that 2012 team is gone, and the Falcons are busy piecing together a new squad for this season. Here's Jason Malillo with more.
With a lot of new faces, Armstrong is hoping to build on last season's success.
It was the same team for the last 2 years, so last year was more about maintenance and trying not to get into the way of those experienced players. This year, it's we got great returning players, but fitting in and training those new up-and-coming players is, relearning for us as coaches.
Armstrong lost its top 6 scorers to graduation, which means they'll have to concentrate on defense early in the season. That effort will be led by senior goalie Aaron Soper.
Early in the year, people are still going to be getting their, chemistry with the lines figured out and whatnot. So I'm good friends with all the defensemen, so I think that'll definitely help us lock it down, and it'll be a good year.
Senior Noah Cowan and junior Jonah Borowick will be counted on for a lot of the offense. They've played together a lot and have good chemistry on the field.
We're almost a brother. It's like Lex, bro, like stereotype is pretty true with me and him. Like we played over the summer all the time and in the fall, and we're coming in pretty strong and we know each other very well.
Despite winning the conference last spring, Armstrong got bounced in the second round of sections by Maple Grove.
Definitely trying to move past it and work with it, but it's definitely still haunting us. Like, we beat Maple Grove in the regular season and then lost to them when it counted in sections, so obviously it was a stinger.
The Falcons don't want to feel that sting again this season, so making a run through sections to the state tournament is their primary goal. Jason Melillo, 12 Sports.
Lacrosse has expanded from 4 sections to 8, so Armstrong might have a better chance at a section title. Meanwhile, Armstrong's softball team is hoping to move up the ladder in the Northwest Suburban. The Falcons have 6 returning starters this spring from a team that won just 3 games last season, 1 in conference play. It's the second season for Holly Weiborg as the Falcons head coach. Team has been putting some good work in and looks to be improved.
I think we look pretty good. We have a lot of the upperclassmen, so I think we might be pretty good.
I think we're strongest right now in the fielding area. We need a lot of work with situational stuff, but we're coming along and hitting too, so I think we have a pretty solid grip on both.
We lost a few power hitters, but we've gained a few as well. They moved up from JV last year, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do offensively. I've been really impressed with what I've seen in the cages, and it's looking good. So.
Kelsey Meredith moves to center field this season as one of the top returners for Armstrong. She's joined as captains by outfielders Rachel College and Kendra Rooney, and infielders Sammy Smith. Infielder Lexi Ripka and pitcher Caitlin Walksmuth are returning juniors who will be key contributors as well. You know, zooming to the top of the conference isn't likely in one season, but they think this team is one that should win some games.
I'm looking forward to a 500 season, half and half. So I think if we come and bring it every day, work hard, we're going to have a pretty good season.
The Falcons' 2 scheduled games for this week have been postponed. As of now, Monday at Blaine is their first game. Seeing a lot of that going on. We're already a couple days ahead forecasting games being postponed and moving them hopefully to next week.
At some point,
yeah.
This is going to change.
At some point, spring will come, yeah.
Thanks a lot, John. Still ahead, teachers that teach and make you laugh.
The comedy routine that also does more than that when we come back.
And finally, some humor to help students.
It's time again for the Wastebasket Revue.
Great Scott, Marty, it's worse than I thought! The band is playing like the Minnesota Twins! Yes, they're having trouble hitting their pitches and they're behind in the score!
That's a clip from last year's show. Every year since 1967, teachers, custodians, cooks, and secretaries with the Osseo School District volunteer their time to put on this show. Raises money for scholarships, and this year's show opens Thursday night at Park Center High School and runs this weekend and next. So get out there. That's it for now. We'll see you back here tomorrow.